Do calories matter for fat loss? Today I'm going to be taking you guys through and sharing with you the science behind fat loss. Everything that you need to know to effectively lose weight and keep it off once and for all. I'm going to be sharing with you one of the drivers that I believe is the main cause of obesity and people not being able to lose weight, especially as we get older, and telling you also how to effectively lose weight and things that you can start implementing now. If you guys don't know me, I'm Elizabeth with ElizabethAylorFitness, 4-year degree kinesiology, CSCS, and holistic nutritionist. Let's dive right into it. I want to start off by breaking down the effects that insulin has on our body. When it comes to losing weight, when we are consuming food, every time you eat, you are spiking your insulin levels. Your insulin is your fat storage hormone. If you are spiking your insulin, you have a few different choices. You could either store that as sugar, store it as fat, or you could burn that through exercise in your metabolism. A lot of people think that, exercise is a large portion of how much we are burning throughout the day. But when it comes down to it, it's more of our metabolism and our hormones. And that, the hormones and our insulin response, is driving and the main driver of fat loss. Insulin is that fat storage hormone. And if we're trying to lose weight, we do not want to constantly have our insulin levels spiking so that we are in that fat storage mode, because that means we're not burning through our fat stores and burning that as fuel, which is what we want to do. So let's look at this for a second. When we go to lose weight, a big thing we start doing, this is a trend, is we start eating maybe 5 to 6 smaller meals a day. We're snacking. You hear you have to eat throughout the day, constantly getting in those little portions of food to spike the metabolism and keep you, stable blood sugar levels and burn through that. As well as we're taught to lower our fat because fats have more calories. Fats are fattening for us. And then we end up adapting more of a processed carbohydrate diet. You have carbs, fat, and protein, okay? Fat does not spike insulin. Protein is moderate, and carbohydrates, especially if they're coming from highly refined processed carbohydrates, they are gonna have the biggest spike on your insulin levels. So if you're going for fat loss, you think you need to eat 6 meals a day. Every time you eat that meal, you're spiking your insulin, you're turning on your fat storage mode, and then you're eating a very low-fat diet and protein's not to par, which are the two drivers there of satiety. You need your fats for your hormone production to absorb your fat-soluble vitamins. Then your body, number one, because you're snacking all the time, is not gonna have time to dip into your stored fat and start burning it. But also, because you're not fueling it with the right foods, when you are spiking it, you're not getting all the nutrients and everything to send those messengers to your hormones and signal them for your body to use it. Yes, I do believe that your body knows if you're putting a donut in it versus putting some salmon in there, guys. Like, there is a huge difference. So say your maintenance is around 1,800 calories. In order to lose 1 pound of fat, you would need to be in a deficit of 3,500 calories per week. So you start off on a 500 calorie deficit per day, but you already have a storage of 50,000 calories just from what you were consuming before going onto your diet. That's just stored from eating the insulin like we talked about. That's just your stored sugar. That's it, okay? In order to lose weight, we want to dip into that fat stores. But you are eating 6 meals a day. You're doing more of higher carb, higher processed foods, lower protein, lower fat, and you keep spiking the insulin. What happens? You initially lose a little bit of weight, your body's metabolism adapts, and then you have to keep adjusting. Since you are consuming small meals throughout the day, you are still constantly spiking your insulin, and because the foods aren't the correct foods in response to your hormones, you're not able to dip into those fat storage mode. Now, let's try something different. So now, Say, for example, you implement one of my favorite tools, which is fasting. And I will link below my whole playlist. I have a whole playlist on intermittent fasting, where to start as a beginner. I have guides, 16-8, the benefits, and again, everything below for you guys. But let's try this out. So your maintenance, like we talked about, 1,800 calories. You go into your deficit, 1,500. But now, instead of having 6 meals a day, you're doing 2 meals a day, okay? Say you're doing 16-8 fasting, 2 meals a day. Already, you are, number one, gonna be eating less food because your eating window is smaller. Number two, now you have that whole fasting period for your body to burn through what it has and start dipping in to that fat storage because you're not constantly spiking your insulin. Now, on top of that, say you cut out the sugar and all the highly processed carbs, and now you start focusing on your protein, and quality fats at the meal. Your avocados, your salmon, the things that aren't gonna be spiking your insulin through the roof, that are gonna be providing with you with all of your fat-soluble vitamins so that you're able to get your vitamin A, D, K, everything that your body needs for its hormones, as well as you're getting enough protein to provide the satiety, that fullness. You will never overeat on that, guys. You will never overeat on protein. It's just so satiating. And because you're eating these 2 meals a day, you're eating it from foods that are actually good for your hormones, that are giving you your vitamins, your minerals, your nutrients. They're not spiking your insulin too much because you're not doing all the processed foods. Now you're able to dip into your fat stores, you're in the deficit, and you're gonna boom, and you're gonna start booming with that fat loss, okay? So let's review. Do calories in versus calories out, is that the most effective way to lose weight? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say it's gonna come down to insulin levels and choosing the right foods to eat within your eating window so that you're properly getting all the nutrients it needs for your body to have all the vitamins for everything to be functioning at a good cellular level. We go into this diet world now where we think we have to make all of these fancy, like healthy versions of these yummy, unhealthy foods that we think we want, and they're filled with all of these additional ingredients in these, sugar alcohols, and all of these do affect your insulin. So my key, guys, keep it simple. Keep it simple when it comes to everything. Go check out my videos on intermittent fasting. Try different things out. Change up your diet and keep it simple. Focus on high protein. Get good protein in coming from wild-caught fish. Get your healthy fats in there. Anti-inflammatory. I cook with my ghee, my tallow. I get my fish oil every day. Fuel your body and stop looking at your food as trying to find another source of just something. I look at my food and I say, what is this doing for my body versus what is it doing for my mind? And if you guys start trying different things up and doing things like different techniques like intermittent fasting and so forth, these are great things to get your insulin levels to go down, to stop your sugar cravings, to get you into that fat burning zone. And long term, this is what's gonna lead you to have those long-term sustained results when it comes to fat loss. If you cut your calories and your body adapts to it and just keep eating less and less and less and doing more and more cardio, and you're not getting all the nutrients for your hormones and everything, I'm sorry. That's gonna, there's lifestyle factors, there's other factors, and that's gonna add up. So I hope you guys like this video. Make sure to subscribe. Also, every single Monday, I go live. I do a full live Q&A at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure to turn that bell notifications on. I got 3 new videos a week. I'm doing so much more on intermittent fasting. And always drop your comments below. Let me know, do you guys believe in the calorie model, or do you think that it comes down to the foods that you're eating, insulin levels, and even your hormones?